Commissioner Hertzler,
Here.
Commissioner Eichelberger, Controller Whitcomb.
Here.
Thank you, Michelle. Is there any public comment?
I actually do have public comment.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
There's a position on the salary board today that I voted in favor of in your office. But I just wanted to remind you that any further bump ups that may be considered in management in the future should be justified due to new expanded authority and responsibility. It should be understood that this is a county that there's a finite amount of authority and responsibilities such that if a bump up are provided in one position, the authority and responsibilities to be assigned to those positions should be recognized as coming from someone else, whose position should then be bumped down. If that were the case, I think it should be reviewed on a regular basis. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
The only comment I would make, Mr. Chairman, is the fact that the action I think that our controller refers to as a correction.
No, I wasn't talking about that position. I'm in favor of that.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about future. I understand there was a discussion about reorganization or something like that. That's what I was.
Okay, all right.
Well, there could be a number of changes with reorganization, but there is an acknowledgement that we're a growing, fast-growing county.
Right.
And the range of responsibilities has been expanding for years for virtually everybody in the executive management function. So we certainly need to take into consideration the resource constraints we have. And I think the Board of Commissioners is very aware of that. So but we also need to prepare ourselves for a pretty challenging future.
Anything else? Any other comments? Thank you, Al. Next on the agenda is approval of salary board actions. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the salary board actions.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is approval of salary board minutes of September 10th.
I'll make a motion to approve this minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Any other business to come before the salary board?
Make a motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you. Can we rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call the Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Roll call, Michelle.
Commissioner DeFilippo,
Here.
Commissioner Hertzler,
Here.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Thank you, Michelle. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, we will move on to approval of minutes of September 6 and 10. Is there a motion? Second.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is approval of the public safety minutes of August 29th.
Make a motion to approve public safety minutes for August 29th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next is approval of personnel transactions. Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is approval of the 2018 CDBG and home grant awards. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is approval of CDBG and home administrative agreements. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is approval of contracts and grants, items 9(1) A through F, 9(2) items A through I. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve all of the contracts and grants that were discussed at our workshop on September 20th. 9A through H. I. A through I.
Is there a second? Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have discussion Discussion and approval of land partnership grant recommendation. Stephanie.
Thank you. My apologies that we were unable to make it to the workshop last week. We had another successful round of land partnerships grants. As you know, the grant program funds conservation, recreation projects. New for this year was some $50,000 in general fund monies that was set aside for planning projects to implement the county's new comp plan, and we have a lot of interest on that front. We had a total of 15 applications that came in June of this year. The bulk of them, as normal, were parking trail projects, 7 parking trail projects, 6 planning projects. They were all comp plans, zoning ordinance, subdivision, and development plans. A land acquisition project and a water quality project. The bulk of our applicants tend to be municipalities, but we did get a handful of nonprofits that applied. Total available funding this year was $306,300, which was primarily Act 13 funds, plus the $50,000 general fund that I spoke of earlier. Grant requests this year totaled over $413,000, so over $100,000 more in funding or requests than we had available funding. So there was strong interest in the program. We had a grant review committee that met at the end of August to review and rank the applications. The applications were reviewed against a set of criteria that we have in our program guidelines, and then were assigned a low, medium, or high priority. The committee made a recommendation to approve all the grants, but at various different levels. The lower priority projects were recommended for partial funding, and the medium to higher priority projects were recommended to full, or in some cases, nearly full funding. You have a table in front of you that gives you a description of all the applicants, the project type, and the financial piece. Again, we're recommending funding for all of them, but at this point in time, we're recommending that we hold back officially making an award to one of the grantees. That was the Central Pennsylvania Conservancy. They had a request for funding for a conservation easement, and our program guidelines call for public access. But at this point in time, they're still working with the landowner on what type of public access would meet the needs of sort of both parties. So, and we didn't want to delay all the grants, but if we could consider a recommendation on 14 of the 15th, and then come back at a later date when the public access issue is resolved.
One question. What if it's not resolved to our liking? What happens to those dollars? Do they roll over or are they redistributed?
We could do either, actually. We could hold them over for next year,
So we'll
or
cross that bridge when we get to it.
yeah, that would be my thought.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you.
Excuse me, any other questions for Stephanie?
Just on the, refresh my memory, Stephanie, the $50,000 here, these were dollars that, and this is for the zoning update, revitalization plan, comprehensive plan, those kind of things.
Yeah.
That was all left over from essentially us bowing out of Tri-County Regional Planning Commission, right? This is so now we're actually able to provide some direct assistance to our municipalities for planning needs as a result of.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And that 50,000 was earmarked just to those types of projects.
And this is the first year for that, is that right?
Correct.
Good.
And we're really excited. In most of those communities, we're actually working directly, with them. In some cases, they're working primarily with the consultant, but we'll still be there guiding them along.
I still think that's a much greater use of the county's dollars than what we've been getting. And I'm very glad to see a range of applicants on this. That's a terrific program.
I think there was an article in today's either the Patriot or the Sentinel about what's going on in New Cumberland. They have an outreach or public outreach meeting coming up here. And so I'm glad to see that we're assisting with their efforts in New Cumberland. good. And also Lower Mifflin, Silver Spring, Upper Allen, and townships, so it's a good cross-section.
Some of the plans and ordinances in those communities were literally decades old, so it's going to be going to very good use with those communities.
Okay, so the motion should exclude Central PA Conservancy. The total looks like it's $236,000. So that's what you're requesting.
Correct. Yep.
Staff to exclude. Okay, is there
Yep.
a motion?
I'll move for approval as outlined by the chair, with the figures included here, but excluding Central PA Conservancy.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next. Next is the approval of recommendation for the appointment of Annie Wright to the Capital Area Behavioral Health Collaborative to serve as the alternate Cumberland County Mental Health Representative. Is there a motion?
Make that motion.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have approval of capital project requests. First one is for the nursing rehab center, software replacement. Total project cost $19,011.50. Is there a motion?
So,
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next is court administration, 7th Court, Phase 1. Total project cost $523,350. Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, we have approval of general disbursements, transfer authorizations, item 13A through H. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Is there a second? Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. I'd like to report executive sessions held September 20th at 10 a.m. regarding personnel issues. Same day at 11:20 a.m. regarding the potential litigation issue. We have some other business regarding the nursing home. We have an agreement here between CNRC and I believe it's the veterans that was handed out just a little while ago. Any questions or comments? Any additional information?
No.
It's a $0 contract,
Correct.
no cost, it's just a new contract.
Just Veterans Administration, is that right?
Okay, is there a motion for
I'll make a motion to approve a new contract between Claremont Nursing Rehabilitation Center and the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there any other business to be brought from the Board of Commissioners? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So
We are adjourned. Thank you.